everyone. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And if you haven't, my name is River, or other known as Dante, and I make masks for a living. This video is for people who are starting out, or have not started yet, or have started and they need more tips on making masks. Today we're going to be having 5 tips from me on starting your very first masks. Now, the very first one that I would want to recommend is probably the most important one, and it's to just start. A lot of Therians or inspiring mask makers have put off making masks because they are afraid they're going to mess up on it. That alone has affected their own ability to be able to make masks that are, make art at all. And my thing about that is that you cannot get good at something without practicing or trying it. So my most important tip of the day is to just start. This is one of my very first masks. This is also one of my very first masks. This is my most recent masks. It's a hood, by the way. And I've been making these for about a year and a half. Just start. There is nothing wrong with starting out for the first time and not loving how it turns out. Everyone starts somewhere. Now, I know you might be wondering, might be thinking, but River, those masks are great. What do you mean everyone starts somewhere? I used to make fursuits for a long time. I actually just started making masks this last year, in June of 2024. I've made masks since I was 12 years old. And I am almost 20 years old. And when you're watching this, I probably already am 20 years old. And that's literally in a month, February. So that is 8 years worth of making fursuits / masks. So if you really want to know my very first project / fursuit, here it is! Yeah, look at that abomination in all its glory. Everyone starts somewhere. My next tip of the day, it is to get the right kind of fur. This is mostly a tip if you do pure fur masks. As you can see, that is what mine is. Here's another example, but this is one of my work in progress ones. This is a fully furred masks. A lot of people, Therians, like to put felt on it, and that's fine. That's totally fine. That's their own style. This is my own style I like to do. I still like to do the felt thing sometimes. It's pretty fun. But this is if you are doing a fully furred mask. This is to get the right kind of fur. Normally people don't know where to go. I didn't know where to go for right kind of furs for a long time. And this is like high quality fur, by the way. So a lot of people will go to Amazon or Hobby Lobby or their most closest craft stores in the area or cheapest fur. Which, if you want to get that stuff, do it. There is nothing wrong with it. That is just my personal preference. The places that I would recommend to go to for your fur, I have 3 options, and I'll admit they can be pretty expensive. They are high quality fur used for fursuits, because I know that a lot of people are wondering, like, how do you get your fur to be so straight whenever you shave it? Because whenever I shave mine, it's all patchy. That's because you are using not the kind of fur that people use for fursuits. This is the kind of fur people use for fursuits right here. It's very soft, it's not as patchy, and it is really thick. The places that I recommend are Hal Fabrics, which is my personal go-to. This is a Hal Fabrics fur. The ones that I just showed you were Hal Fabrics. And the second one is Fursuit Supplies. This one I used to get all the time. They used to be my go-to. Every time I wanted fur, anytime I needed a refill, I would go here. It's a very safe option for a cheaper way. And then our next contestant is Big Z Fabrics. This one is probably the cheapest one out of all of them, and it has a wider selection. However, the downside is that their quality kind of ranges. I'm still getting used to Big Z in general, so I've only seen one's Big Z fabric that is really not great, and it kind of has the same problem as the Amazon fur or the Hobby Lobby fur, craft fur. I haven't actually bought anything from them yet, but that is mostly because I already have a go-to and I don't really have the money to be testing out. But maybe one day I can test out each company. Maybe one day, who knows, maybe if I can get enough followers, I can be able to do little swatches and stuff. But those are my, they kind of go from most expensive to lowest expensive. And the cool thing about Big Z, though, is something that I'll actually say is that they have way more quality of fabrics in general. They are called fabrics for a reason. They have more than just fur. And that's the thing that I love about this place. And I honestly, I've been waiting for the buckram to come back in stock because I really want it. Because I've been using the same little mesh stuff for years. My third tip of the day is use reference photos. This one is pretty dang important, and a lot of people skip over it. There's nothing wrong with jumping straight in it. Like I literally said in the first tip, just start. That is the most important tip on making masks. If you want your mask to be as accurate as possible, you need to look at reference photos. Probably the most common one is the cat. If you're wanting to make a cat, you need to look at a reference photo. Maybe a specific breed you want to look at. A really great tip I have is that you take this into a art studio app, take a picture of it, and then you go onto the tool and you trace over every little detail that is on it so that you can be able to kind of implement that into your mask and help your process go along a lot smoother. Another thing about reference photos is that it is honestly not just references as in looking at the animal reference, but it is also looking at other people's masks for inspiration. There's nothing wrong with inspiration. As long as it's not full inspiration, it's heavy inspiration. Like, for instance, you can look at my mask and be like, oh my god, I really want to make a moving jaw mask, or I really want to make a hooded mask. I really want to airbrush it. I really want to make the whole full fur mask. And that's great. You can implement those things into your masks, or you could take some of the animals for reference. Some people may not have the same animals. They'll have really unique animals, and you're like, I love the animal. I really want to do something similar and turn it into a mask. You can also do something like see someone's patterns and you like the colors of it, and you'll be like, I want those colors onto something. The one thing that you need to be careful with is do not heavy inspiration onto someone else's work. The main reason I say this is because that it can be too similar, and some people have a serious connection with the animal or with the specific character they have on their face, on their fursuit, on their mask, and it holds a special part into them. And if someone sees that someone just kind of copied it, oh, so this person knows nothing about this character, and they're just kind of, they don't know anything about it. And they turned it into a mask. And I did not get any say in it. So that is something you want to avoid. Don't do that. Don't be that person. The one thing you don't want to do about those is you don't want to harass the person who has a very heavy inspired mask. I've seen people see a mask that looks almost identical to each other, and they'll bash the person, and normally the person is a kid. Don't do that. Kids are very impressionable. The fourth tip that I have for this video is tutorials. There is two things that you can do with inspiration or references, and that is by looking at a certain mask, animal, or whatever, and you take some inspiration from it. Or you can go onto YouTube or TikTok and you can look up tutorials for masks. There are so many tutorials. You have no idea. They are just out there. You just have to click on them. But a lot of people will see a certain creator's masks and they'll be like, I want that mask, but I don't want to pay for it. I want to know how to make it. And so what they'll do is they will constantly ask, tutorial, 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 give me a tutorial, give me a tutorial, I want a tutorial. Don't do that, okay? Ask once, that's fine. If they say no, they said no. There are many reasons why I don't do tutorials nearly as much as people want me to. I'll do small tips, like what I'm doing today, but I will not do tutorials, like full tutorials and stuff, because they will take in full inspiration from my masks, and I do not want that to happen because this style is very dear to me, and I worked really hard to get to this point. And I also make full-time living from this. So what I think is better for you to do instead of harassing or constantly asking creators that you really like the masks of tutorials, instead look at already existing tutorials and make your own style. Please. What you should really be doing though is trying to work at making your own style. If you want to make a business on this one day, then you need to have a reason to set yourself away from other people's masks or works. Next one is a lot less important than the rest of the other ones, but it is still very useful, and that is shaping. When you're actually making the mask, a lot of times people will look at tutorials and all they'll see is cardboard and glue. That's fine. If you want to start with those things, do it. There is nothing wrong with it. But if you want to get better, I suggest to look at different kinds of forms of shaping and practice it. The two kinds of shaping that I do is I do foam clay. As you can see here, this is my most recent foam clay design, and here are a few other ones that I did. These are one of my favorite types of ways to do this because it is so fun. It is so fun to make my own shapes. I have so much free will. I suggest this so much. Please do foam clay. Start with this. This is a great starting point. It'll really help you control how much is on there. And if you are struggling and don't know how to do this, and maybe you're scared, you're like, I don't want to waste so much of foam clay on this because I've never started before. I might give a kind of list of tips for foam clay designing and shaping. If that is something you really want, please let me know in the comments. I would love to try and do that. My other form of shaping is upholstery foam. This is the more expensive one out of the bunch because a whole roll of this can go from, honestly, it's like $25 for a roll. And it's not a big roll either. I actually had the unfortunate problem of purchasing my most recent upholstery foam whenever Black Friday, before Black Friday happened, which means all the prices were up and skyrocketing, and I unfortunately had to pay like way more than I normally have to. Yay. My most recent foam thing that I did, like literally most recent, it was like 3 days ago I made this. It is this one. Now, this one is definitely not the easiest one. I would say that it's actually one of the harder ones to do because it's not as controlled and you have to do a lot of gluing and cutting and precise. You have to do a lot of symmetrical stuff. It is mostly used by furries and fursuits. It's used for fursuits. The reason why I even know how to do all this stuff is because I was a fursuit maker a long time ago. I still make fursuits occasionally, but I don't do it nearly as much as I do make masks. Masks are a lot more freeing, and I love making them. I said 5 tips, but I'm going to give you a little bonus tip because I love you guys, and I also, because I just really want to. The other one is bases. You can start out with a cat mask base. There's nothing wrong with that. It is suggested sometimes because it helps kind of give an idea of what you want and you don't have to go all out. If you have no access to getting those and you're like, but I can't make a mask because I don't have a cat mask, go to your normal craft store. They will have this thing called foam. Foamies or like this thick foam. It is very useful for not just making the base, but also building off of it to make cool little things. I'll show you what I mean right here. This stuff is called, I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. I don't want to say upholstery foam, but it's kind of rolling on top of my tip of my tongue, but that's not what that is. I just talked about that. That's not what this is. This is something completely different. Here is the base. I did this from scratch. I do all of my masks from scratch. This is so helpful if you have a complicated face. Maybe if you have a bigger face, you have a smaller face. Maybe you have a bigger face than what the cat masks will provide, and it makes the mask look awkward on you, and you have to put a lot of fur on the sides to be able to look good, make it to look good and on you. This is so helpful because you can make the mask exactly the size that you need it to be. And majority of the time, that's what I do, because it is so easy to get access to these things. I can literally just get them at Hobby Lobby for like $9 a roll. The rolls are huge, by the way. You can make like 5 masks out of them, not just with these, not just the bases, but like also building off of it. I hope you guys enjoyed my little list of tips, and my little bonus tips for today. I had a lot of fun talking about this. I think this is really what I'm going to be doing for a lot of my content, and I'm super excited to get started on my YouTube journey. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. I am trying to get to 4,000 followers so I can be able to get creator funds from YouTube. So I hope you guys have a great day. Check out my TikTok. Check out my Ko-Fi. You know, if you want to help support me, you can go to Ko-Fi and you can do little donate stuff. Here you can see that. Here is my only member. Thank you so much for doing the member thing. I give member shoutouts to every time you have a member. Here we have Calamity. They're so amazing. They commissioned me for 2 masks, and they commissioned me like several times for digital art. I do that, by the way. I do digital art as well. So thank you so much, Calamity, for being a member. And you can quit anytime you want, by the way. It's a monthly thing, but you can quit anytime you want if you are thinking about doing it. There are so many benefits to it, mostly on my Discord server. My link is also in my bio for that. So I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful day, or morning, or night, or afternoon. Maybe it's 3 a.m. in the morning. This has been my 5 tips and 1 bonus tip on making masks. And if you have any suggestions on any other tips that you'd like, please let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye! Bye.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. I have an announcement. I now have my own book series that I'm working on right now. It's called Feathered Eclipse. It is an Alter-Human inspired kind of series, and you know, you can find it on Wattpad. It's pretty simple. My characters are pretty interesting, you know, definitely not inspired by my stereotype at all. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, so see you later, bye!